When the world feels like it's spinning out of control, we're usually told to slow down, take a step back. But what if that's not the answer? What if the real solution is to push forward, faster, but in a totally new direction? Today, we're going to explore 7 pretty radical ideas for how to do just that. So this gets us to a really fascinating and kind of counterintuitive question. It's at the heart of this complex idea called accelerationism. It really challenges a core assumption, right? I mean, how could more speed possibly be the answer when it already feels like things are flying off the rails?
Okay, so the basic theory goes something like this. The argument is that to get beyond the current system, we should actually accelerate its own internal logic, its speed, its contradictions, until it basically pushes itself to a breaking point and transforms into something new.
But here's where it gets tricky. That hashtag #accelerate, it's super catchy, perfect for social media. But the philosopher Patricia, whose work we're digging into, she argues that this simple word might actually hide what's really at stake. So we need to look a little deeper than just the buzzword. And that brings us to our first really crucial distinction. See, the real goal here isn't just about raw speed. It's about the quality, and more importantly, the direction of our movement. Patricia uses this amazing metaphor for where we're at right now. She says it's like we're on one of those spinning amusement park rides. We feel that nauseating speed, right? That constant motion, but we're not actually going anywhere. It's just a whole lot of activity with zero real progress.
And this is the core of the problem. We're trapped in what Reid calls rotational motion, just going around and around in endless cycles. The goal is to break out of that loop and create what she calls vectorial trajectories. It's really just a powerful way of saying we need to start moving forward with purpose in a new direction.
So how do we break out of that spin cycle? Well, Reid's first prescription is a strange word, to eccentricate. Just think of it like deliberately knocking our society off its current stagnant center. By creating new, out-of-center ideas and goals, we can actually get pulled onto entirely new paths. This isn't about moving faster, it's about fundamentally changing our direction. All right, so to create these new paths, we're going to need some new conceptual tools, new ways of thinking. The first tool is to speculate. And hold on, we're not talking about financial speculation here. This is about intellectual and creative speculation. It means we have to stop just analyzing all the problems of the present and start actively imagining different futures. It's all based on this fundamental idea that what we have right now isn't the only possibility.
And this is such a critical shift. For so long, so much critique is just focused on pointing out what's wrong, what we don't want. Speculation is the engine that starts building a vision of what we actually do want. It creates an active desire for a different future.
Okay, the next tool is to fictionalize. This is all about harnessing the incredible power of stories. By creating compelling narratives about a possible future, we can actually start to build belief in it. These fictions act like maps, guiding us from where we are now toward that imagined destination.
And what these stories ultimately do is mobilize people. They answer that critical question, okay, who is actually going to build this new future? They do it by creating a demos, a community of people who are united by a powerful, shared vision. It gives a group a kind of collective soul and a purpose.
Okay, so we've got these new ways of thinking, but how do we actually start constructing a different reality?
This brings us to the prescription, to commonize. This is a call for ambitious, society-wide projects. But here's the twist. Instead of focusing on scarce resources, the whole idea is to build systems around things that are infinite, things that actually grow when we share them, like knowledge, language, and art.
So the goal is a fundamental shift in our societal values. We're talking about moving away from a system built on competition and scarcity, and moving towards one that's based on cooperation and shareability. It's about creating a true commons of the mind and culture.
Now, this next one might sound a little counterintuitive. Reid says we need to abstractify. Abstraction gets a bad rap sometimes. We think of it as confusing. But here, it's defined as a powerful tool for detachment. It's the ability to mentally step away from how things are right now in order to invent something totally new.
I mean, think about it. The world of finance has absolutely mastered the art of abstraction, using these complex models to generate profit. The argument here is that we need to reclaim that powerful tool. We can use abstraction not for private gain, but to design entirely new ways of living together, creating a collective we that can even include the non-human world.
All of this new way of thinking and building, it also requires a completely new relationship with time itself.
Just look at this contrast. It is staggering. Our political systems operate on these super short, myopic election cycles, right? 4 or 5 years. But we are living in the Anthropocene, an era where our actions have consequences that play out on a geological timescale. There's a massive, massive disconnect.
And this is one of the biggest challenges we face. I mean, how do we create political structures that can think and act on the scale of a single human life and on the scale of the planet's life at the same time?
So Reid's prescription is to geometricize. And yeah, it's a mouthful, I know. But think of it like upgrading our mental software. We have to develop new ways of seeing and feeling the world that allow us to grasp these huge overlapping timescales. It's almost like developing a new sense that lets our imagination operate on a planetary scale.
So we have all these powerful tools, right? To eccentricate, speculate, fictionalize the whole shebang. But they all serve one foundational goal. This is the first and most important prescription of all, to reorientate. At its very core, this entire project is about changing our fundamental direction as a society.
And this really brings it all together. This isn't about finding one magic bullet. It's a complete toolkit of interconnected strategies. It's for reclaiming our imagination from just nostalgia and fear, for building a collective purpose, for breaking free from the limits of the present, and ultimately for inventing totally new ways for all of us to live together on this planet. And ultimately, this whole framework leaves us with a really powerful thought. The future isn't some destination that we're just going to arrive at one day. It's a project. It has to be actively constructed. So the question isn't just, what will the future be? The real question is, what will you help build?